Welcome to Waters World. I'm Jesse Waters. As we come to the end of the president's first year in office, the left would have you believe Donald Trump has no accomplishments. So while they ignore a big tax cut, booming economy, ISIS victory, historic appointment of judges, and the cutting of Obamacare, we want to take a look back at President Trump's to-do list. He told me about his huge plans when I sat down with him just after he got to Washington. President Trump, welcome back to Waters World. How does it feel?
It feels great, and it feels great to be with you, and you've been so nice, and thank you.
Oh, well, flattery will get you everywhere. Now, the last time I spoke to you, I presented a signed photograph of myself at Trump Tower. Have you hung it on your wall yet?
Oh, absolutely, right on that wall.
That's fake news. I don't believe it.
That was fake news.
Obamacare repeal could be President Trump's first deal. Are you going to close it?
Well, I think it's going to be never easy. You know, healthcare is a very complex subject. I've been saying that for a long time. Now people are agreeing with me. They understand. And not complex for the ordinary reason, Jesse. It's complex because you take this group and you make them happy and they become unhappy. Now you make them happy and they become... So it's back and forth. The answer is yes, we're going to get something done. I think it's going to be terrific, and it's going to be so much better than Obamacare, which really doesn't exist. Right. Because if you allow it to exist for another year, it's going to implode. And, you know, I've been saying for a long time, just walk away for 1 year. They'll come back, the Democrats, who, if you gave them a Democrat bill to approve, they wouldn't approve it. Right. They wouldn't give you one vote. It's really a bad situation out there. So, and it's been that way for years, not just now. It's been that way for years. But if I put together a perfect Democrat bill on health care or anything else for them to sign, you wouldn't get one vote. It's a pretty bad deal. People
like Senator Rand Paul, who you ridiculed during the debates, could mess this thing up.
Rand Paul shouldn't even be on this stage. He's number 11. He's got 1% in the polls, and how he got up here, there's far too many people. Anyway, I like him. He's become a friend of mine. It's hard to believe I ridiculed, because he's a good guy.
Okay.
And he means well, and I think ultimately we're going to all come together.
It's going to get done.
We want something done, and also we want to start on the taxes. We're going to cut everybody's taxes, including business taxes, the middle income taxes. Everything's going to be cut.
Income
and I
taxes.
can't do that until we get this done.
The income tax rate, what are we talking about? What would you like to see the top rate be?
Well, we're going to get a big reduction. We're going to bring business down to 15 to 20% from 36 and 38 and even higher that in certain instances. We're the highest taxed nation in the world. We're going to bring taxes way down. And for middle income, we're also getting rid of brackets. We're going from 7 to 3 or 4 brackets. And that will be such a pleasure.
What would you like to see the brackets look like?
Well, I'd like to see 0 if you don't make much, like 0, and that's what it's going to be. It's going to be 0 up to a level.
Okay.
And then it's going to be 12.5%, 15%. It's going to be 10%. We're working on the different numbers, but it's going to be much lower than it is right now. It'll be the biggest tax cut since Reagan, and probably bigger than Reagan.
Very good, because I need the money.
We have to get this good. But before you are in that high bracket, I hope. I hope right now you're in the high bracket.
Yeah. Well, we saw some of your returns. These people over at NBC News doing everything they can to take you down.
What I have here is a copy of Donald Trump's tax returns. We have his federal tax return for 1 year for 2005.
I thought you leaked those returns yourself. It made you look good. You had made $135 million and paid a lot of dough to Uncle Sam.
You know, they're bad people. There's something wrong with them. They leaked them. It's illegal to do what they did, I think. You know, I always heard that a tax return was a very sacred kind of a thing. You don't leak them. You're not allowed to. It's criminally offensive. But they put them out, and I think it was, I mean, they're good from that standpoint.
Right.
My tax returns are good. All of my tax returns are good.
Yeah.
But
are you going after these leakers hard?
I'm thinking about it. We're looking at it, but it's terrible what's going on in Washington. We have a certain establishment out there that's leaking, and if it gets down to other things, even more important than that. But a tax return's a very important thing, and you're not supposed to be leaking them, and they do.
Right.
Which is, they just don't respect the law, and we have to change that.
Right. The anti-Trump resistance, it's out there in the streets. Some of it's in the federal government. How much do you think is that genuine anger, and how much do you think that's someone like President Obama pulling the strings from behind the scenes?
It might be everything. You know, there's some anger, and there's great love on our side. I mean, look at the crowds outside.
Huge.
We have crowds. We have Senator Lamar Alexander. We have Senator Corker. We have the governor of the state, governor of Tennessee, great guy, and they say they've never seen crowds like that ever. They've been here a long time. they've never seen anything like it, for the country stars, for anything. And that's love. We have great love. That's how we won.
You have a lot of love on your side, and then there's also people burning things in the street. Do you think President Obama wants you to succeed?
Well, you know, he's been very nice to me personally, but his people haven't been nice. And there's great animosity out there. There's great anger. Leaking is just one example of it. In some cases, a very serious example of it. But leaking and the level of anger is hard to believe. So while he's nice personally, there doesn't seem to be a lot of nice things happening behind the scenes, and that's unfortunate.
The media, pretty vicious, not just to you, but to your family. How do you process that?
You just have to go on. You know, we've done a great job in terms of manufacturing, in terms of the market, in terms of business optimism. I don't know if you saw optimism's up the highest in 15 years, and much more than that it'll turn out to be. Things are just going really well for the country. You look at the border, down now 61% since the inauguration.
Wow.
Stock market's up 15%, almost 16% since the inauguration. Over $3 trillion of value has been created. Many jobs have been created. I mean, we're really, look, I inherited a mess, okay? The Middle East was a mess. People wanting to get jobs is a mess, despite the numbers. You know, you hear numbers, but you have millions of people out there that want to get jobs. They can't get jobs because we don't have good jobs. But they're coming back. Ford is coming back. General Motors is coming back. Fiat Chrysler is coming back. We just had a big meeting in Detroit with the car manufacturers, and it was unbelievable what's going to be happening. So ultimately, that's the thing that talks. And as you probably saw the polls that came out today, I'm at my all-time high for this. So we'll just keep going.
You're still paying attention to the polls,
I do. I pay. The only ones I guess I shouldn't have paid attention to were the exit polls during Election Day,
right,
because I was saying, boy, I think I'm doing better than that, and it turned out that we did.
Let's do a Waters World quiz.
Okay.
Don't be nervous.
Okay, I won't. I
think
promise.
you'll do just fine. Chuck Schumer, the president of CNN, and Alec Baldwin. If you had to fire one person right now, who would you fire?
Well, I think the Alec Baldwin situation is not good. Chuck, I'm very disappointed because he's a guy that should make deals for the people,
right,
not as Democrat or Republican. I thought he'd be a deal maker, and instead he's just an obstructionist. So I'm disappointed in him. And Jeff Zucker, I mean, I got him the job. I recommended him, and I didn't recommend. I got him the job. And CNN is just, fake news. Who would I say? I don't want to say, but I will say I'm disappointed in all three. I think the portrayal of me is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Steve. You look rested.
Thank you.
Next question. What is going to be done first, building the wall or defeating ISIS?
Well, you see we're doing very well in the Middle East over the last 4 weeks. That's another thing. I mean, we're not playing games anymore, and we're letting the generals and the captains and the majors and the people on the ground that graduated from West Point and Annapolis, and they graduated from the Air Force Academy, and they're out there doing their thing. Mm-hmm. But I think the wall is going to start very soon. We had almost 200 bidders to build the wall. We have great pricing coming in. We have some great designs coming in. I think the wall's going to start very soon.
Are you going to pick the design for the wall?
I'll be very much involved. When it comes to design, I'm very good at that stuff. And building on time, on budget, that's what I do.
Okay. Let me know when they break ground. I might be down there with a shovel.
Good. Maybe I'll be down there with you.
Okay. The lightning round. This is the last part. I'm going to name a name, and then you give one or two words to describe that person, okay?
Okay.
Kellyanne Conway.
A very nice woman.
Hillary Clinton.
Disappointed.
Mark Cuban.
Backed me all the way, but when I wouldn't return his phone calls, he went the other way, picked the wrong horse.
Yes, he did. Vladimir Putin.
Don't know him, but certainly he is a tough cookie, and I don't know how he's doing for Russia. We're going to find out one day, I guess.
Elizabeth Warren.
I think she'd lose so badly. I think she hurt, honestly. I think she hurt Hillary Clinton very badly.
Why?
I watched those speeches, the anger, the hatred in her heart, and I said, she's really bad for Hillary. I watched that last couple of weeks where she was getting up with that craziness and that anger.
I got news for you, Donald Trump. women have had it with guys like you. And nasty women have really had it with guys like you.
Pocahontas would not be proud of her as her representative, believe me.
I think she's probably going to run against you, Elizabeth Warren.
I hope so. Why do I hope so? That would be a dream come true.
Snoop Dogg.
Well, look, I think that was terrible because, not because of me, I think it's terrible to do that to any president, any person. I think it was pretty low life. His career is failing and he's getting a lot of publicity on it, but I think it was a terrible thing to do, personally.
Last one, Jesse Waters.
Tremendous future, tremendous potential, should be making good money, your agent should be very happy, and I enjoy your show. And honestly, you've been so nice to me that this is why I turned on the biggest shows on television, and here I am. It's Waters' World.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Thank you, Jesse. Great
Appreciate
job.
it.